Buenos dias, buenos dias. Hello, hello. Good morning, bonjour.
Bonjour.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? What a
Hi
fabulous
guys.
day.
Yeah.
I like this week. I mean, it was mostly
You do?
sunny.
I
Yeah, it
know.
was
I
mostly
missed you
sunny.
at
I
the
was able to
beach
go anywhere.
yesterday. We decided to
Hey,
go to the beach. I missed you at the beach yesterday since we decided to go to the beach on the coldest day of the week. But it's okay.
it's all right. It's all right. But I heard it was a fabulous time. I heard most of the teammates that went out there had a really good time out there, which
Yeah.
was
I played
amazing.
volleyball. We
I,
had a good volleyball game. I suck, by the way. Just
Nice.
wow, I would have thought you
Horrible.
would have been okay playing volleyball since you're
well,
tall.
Right?
It's just like all I have
Right?
to do is raise your hand. Gigi, raise your hand.
That's all they kept telling you?
Exactly.
No wonder
Put your
this
hand
game
up. Put your
sucks.
hand up over the net. Over the net. Just keep it over the net.
That's
Over the net.
what is that gonna do? Like you're just gonna stand there and
It's
hold
fine,
your
and it's fine. And
Oh
I would
my
do a
God.
victory dance. It was fun. It was just fun. It's for the hell of it. I haven't played. I don't think I played volleyball in over 30-something years, so it's kind of bad. It's horrible. Anyway,
Yeah,
giving up my age.
I kind
right?
of, I missed that also. I wish I would have went there for that too, but things
One of
work
our
always got
agents,
in the way.
one of our agents ended up in the in the urgent care because I think she
Wow.
twisted her knee. I mean, she
No.
sprained her knee.
Oh, poor thing.
I know.
Oh,
It felt
poor
so bad.
thing.
We had fun, but
Man.
Yeah.
But how's business anyways for everyone? How's everybody doing?
Good.
Talk to us. Let's
Good,
let the
good,
world
good,
know.
good.
Oh man,
Everything
I've been
good
super
so
busy.
far?
I had a closing last week. I had another closing this week. I'm expecting 2 more closings next week.
All right, so who's paying drinks this week?
Hey, I stopped drinking.
I no, it's not even. Oh boy, I wish I could say that. I don't know what happened, but the sad thing is I don't need a lot to get buzzed. Oh my goodness, it's really pathetic. That's
It's
what
bad-
happens when
listen,
you don't drink
It's
at
better
all.
that way. It's better
Huh?
that way. It's
Yeah.
better that way. Alcohol is not good for you.
Oh no, it's
anyway.
not. But like the little bit, I think I had like a quarter of a cup of alcohol yesterday, and I was so buzzed. It's
Oh
unbelievable.
my God.
But it's okay.
It's all
okay.
good.
All week long, all the time. I mean, I'm like really going into the super healthy stuff. Eating
Nice.
my kale and all that.
There you
My
go. That's the way to
asparagus.
do it right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me too. I mean, I'm eating a little, less grease and all
Yo,
that great stuff. Just to give
Real
my body
quick,
right. So.
sorry, Israel. I just want to shout out
Nah.
Leia because Leia just texted me and told me to look at the screen.
Leia.
So I had to tell her, listen, I'm sending messages. I'm sending lockbox access codes to my list.
I know.
do
So just tell
apologize,
Leia
Leia.
to comment
It's all
and
good.
it's the Leia we
It's
know,
all
the
good.
Leia we all know.
Yeah,
Exit Leia. All right.
Yeah.
Shout out
It's
to
all
Leia.
good. I'll take
out
that.
to
Well,
Leia,
hello
yo.
to Leia. Absolutely.
Sorry about
Well,
that.
you know
crew.
what? No, it's all good. Listen, we're always busy, and that's the great thing about our business, right? We're always
Look who
busy.
showed up
And-
this morning.
Leia, there she is.
Darwin and Leia. Darwin, love, it's been forever. We haven't
Hey.
seen you. So glad to see you.
Yeah. I met up with Leia last
Uh,
week. We were talking business. So shout out to Leia.
Hey, Leia. Yeah.
Fantastic. Congrats.
All right,
Yes.
that's good. Hi, Leia.
So-
So, all right. So today, back to a serious topic because it's not that it's serious, guys, but I feel like we really need to crank up our sales ability, our sales skills, all of us, right?
Yeah, we gotta sharpen that axe, baby.
I know because
We can't be sitting here chopping away trees thinking that the axe isn't gonna get dull. At some point, we need to train ourselves and go
Yeah.
through some
Absolutely.
trainings and sharpen that
Absolutely.
axe.
Yeah, and you know, guys, what came about this topic today? Oh, we had this fantastic ride over the last 10 years. So anybody who started real estate, Israel, no, you started later than 10 years, more than over 10
No,
years
I'm,
ago,
I'm
right?
at 10 now. I'm
You're
at
at
10,
10.
starting 11
And
already.
then like newbie, not a newbie because now he's a superstar, but like you fairly new, Ed. You guys
I
didn't
still
really have
feel
to. It was an environment where it was so easy. We didn't need to get really trained on the hardcore sales techniques, and now we're back to a normalized market. And I feel bad for the agents who never had any training at all in sales. And it's like right now, more than ever, it's you need to have some skills. You need to know what to say. You need to listen very well. You need to understand the cues from your clients, from your leads, from your buyers, from your sellers. And you also need to know when to close.
Yeah.
We have that thing, always be closing. Yes, but not like you need to know when to close. So today we're going to discuss a few tried and true closing techniques, the closing conversations for you guys to seal the deals, to go get more offer accepted, to get more listings, to get more deals put together. And we have not reinvented the wheels. A lot of those come from master trainer, who's a sales trainer in general. What's his name? What's his name? Brian Tracy. Some of it from Coach Michael Bird, which is also redoing his mix of all those true and known sales techniques. So we're just gonna go over that. That's it.
Yeah.
Word, because them TikTok dances is not gonna get you to close that
deal.
I'm
not against TikTok dancing. Yesterday I was being silly live on on Instagram, and who cares? But it's you.
I think there's a state that's actually already banned TikTok, and
are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I don't think it's taking away the freedom of speech is not a good thing. I'm French. La révolution.
Right.
It's a political thing.
Well,
definitely a political thing. Absolutely. But yeah, I agree. I mean, closings for sales is actually very important, because at the end of the day, any closings that you do will help you get to whatever contracts you need to get to as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So we
certainly
put together.
We put together everything. We put together a whole bunch of other closings that you can use, and I can tell you right now, these aren't just the ones to use. There's so many you can use. So many ways and levels that you can go to. But I feel there's, and I hope you guys agree with this, is that it's very effective to use these.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to starting this already.
Yeah, let's start. I mean, all right, who's in charge of those slides?
Here we go. You ready?
Go ahead.
Yes, we are.
Bing bong.
Bong.
Bing bing bong. All right.
So closing conversations to seal this deal. Wow, several ways to close a deal.
A deal, yes. So guys, I'm sorry, I keep on scrunching my hair. It's hair washing day on Thursday, so I could look nice for you guys.
There you go.
My hair is still wet.
Thank you so much.
There you go.
You should have seen after beach day. Let's move on. So all right, let's go with the slide.
Oh, that beach day gotcha. So here we go. We're going to jump right into it. So what is closing, right? Closing is your ability to ask a series of questions that create the confidence for your clients to make a decision that is good for them.
Yeah. You can only close when your client is ready. If there is any doubt, any hint of uncertainty, you're not getting anything. You're not getting anywhere.
It's another scent you don't want to be throwing out there during an appointment is commission breath. You guys ever heard of commission breath?
I heard of it, but I'm a foreigner, so I mean no English. So just go for it.
Commission breath is where, technically speaking, all you have is commission on your mind. So you can't go with the concept of, hey, you know what? If I lock this $1 million deal in for 6%, that's $60,000. I'm in a position to make. And if they turn around and say, no, I'm not paying you 6%, I'll pay you 4%. You know what I mean? There's a reason behind this. So again, we spoke about this in the past. You need to have value and present value when you're meeting with these folks, because I think
you need to turn around. Yeah. It's not about you, like the most successful agents. Things will fall into place naturally. You'll be making those, once you have the value, you'll be making those 6% commission. Yeah, it's more difficult there is a lot of competition, but once the seller sees the value, once the buyer, especially if it's an exclusive buyer, also sees the value, they'll go for it. So turn Stop thinking about yourself and your bottom line dollar. Just go,
And I agree with that. So in other words, adding value real quick is actually not only on the sales version, like in the listing version, also in the buyer's version. We're going to go to the next one real quick. But the point is that you just don't, after a showing, just say, all right, could we put an offer? Instead of asking, what do they see? What do they want? So on and so forth.
How they feel.
And adding value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way. It just really should be. And I agree with that 1,000%.
Yeah. So that came from that information is not from us. Actually, came from an article we use. It was a sales blog, sales in general. They're just saying that today we know that in most organizations, about 25% of the sales rep drive 75% of the business of the total revenue. I thought it was the 80-20 rules, but I'll take this one. It's better if I'm seeing that more of us are driving the business. That's good. What makes a small percentage of reps so much more successful than the rest? I can tell you that it's not charisma or experience, although that helps a lot. It's being empowered with a combination of enablement, knowledge, motivation, confidence, tracking, and the right tools to perform at their best. At their best. Oh, guys, I need a vent. My menopause is kicking in. I have no idea what that is, but woo!
You gotta. You know what? I know what to get, Gigi. What are those things called?
I have one. I have it at home for the summer. It's like a
fans, the spring fans. Yeah.
What do they call them? Banicos in Spanish. In Spanish,
okay.
I think they call them banicos.
Yes. I have it. I have a few, but they're home. It was winter yesterday. But
you should have took it with you to the beach. Hey,
I didn't need it. All right. The most common close. All right, is usually a lot of
close.
Yeah, I think that's what comes to mind the most, right? People really try to use this most often, and to me, I'm not necessarily impressed with this one. Doesn't really show. I'm going back to the notes that we had at the beginning. Doesn't necessarily show too much sales skills, but let me go into my old slides right there.
Well, the thing is with this one, and let me add on to the fact of what it says in the beginning. It says use something outside of control to create deadlines for a decision.
Right.
All offers need to be in, by Wednesday at 5 p.m. Now, I hear this, whether it's a close from like a listing agent to a buyer or a buyer to whatever. What it is that from what I see from this is that you'll get a lot of folks saying, "Let me think about it," right? Mm-hmm. Or let me put some time into before putting an offer. And that in itself is just saying, hey, listen, we only have this amount of time to put in this offer before they won't accept any offer.
I feel this was super relevant, like during, right after the lockdown. That's all we heard, that, okay, we need to get this listing in today so we can meet the advertising deadline. I get it. It's not my favorite. We'll use it sometimes. I don't think it has, to me, and you guys can disagree, and I know it's not the one that has the most value. It's not the one that shows that you're most compelled to really care about the buyer or the seller. And I do understand we do have deadlines, but it's nothing, even if you're going to do an open house next week instead of this week, nothing is going to change, like especially in this market. So I'm like, yes, use it, but that shouldn't be the first thing you should be using. And unfortunately, that's all I'm seeing lately, because nobody else, people know only one close, that one. Sorry, guys.
I like to use the hard close if the opportunity presents itself.
Right.
I agree.
Right. So, for example,
after you tried everything else.
Well, it depends, because maybe you didn't try anything, but the opportunity presented itself. You know what I mean? And I'll give you an idea, right? For example, if you start to show properties and you have listing agents coming to show your listings, and you do open houses and they attend and they can see that there's interaction taking place, there's people outside, there's things happening. You know what I mean? But with that being said, you can easily use that to your advantage. So when the agents are presenting their offers, you can then mention, hey, listen, as we explained to everyone else who came in, we're presenting all offers by Tuesday. So I need you to submit any documentation by Monday, 12
Right.
noon, if the opportunity is there. But if you walk into an open house and nobody's there, and I'll tell you right now, it's funny because it happened to me. Some of you guys are using the hard close as the first hit.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It's
here's exactly how it played out. Number one, we went to go see a property with our buyers. Agent was on vacation, so the sellers let us in. We had a great conversation with the sellers. So now, exactly. So number one, if you have a listing, I know it's hard and I know we go on vacation, but if you're going to send another agent to your listing and the seller's going to be the one to open the door, just understand that they're going to release sensitive information, and that can be an advantage for the buyer.
Definitely.
All right. If you haven't thought about it, I'm telling you this right now. So write it down. All right. Now, if you go ahead, I went to the property, saw the place. We connected with the sellers so well that I started to ask questions.
You got the listing, right?
No, I mean, it wasn't that I got it. It was just, and you know what's funny? It actually turned into more business out of that, which is funny that you mentioned it. But we connected. Long story short, I asked her. I said, hey, look, I just want to be honest with you. If they like the place and we submit an offer, I don't want to put them in a bidding war. So do you have any offers on the table? She said, no offers. I said, okay. She said, as a matter of fact, it's been very difficult for us to give anyone access because we normally get home and we're available after 7 p.m. The listing was on the market for maybe 2 weeks. So I said, okay. So it's been hard. Agents on vacation, no offers on the table. I said, great. We got the offer in. You know what the agent told me? The sellers have instructed us to let all of the offers know to please submit their best and highest by this time tomorrow. So I was like, why would you do that if we literally had this conversation?
But they didn't know. I know.
The agent didn't know.
Oh, man. But that puts you in a position of power.
You see
on
what
both
I'm saying?
sides. I know. And too bad for the agent for not controlling that listing well, or not having somebody else on their team just host, be there for the showing. And that's what I don't like. I don't like when homeowners are at the house for showing. This is, you lose so much control. You lose so much of it. You can't leverage as much. Anyway.
Sensitive information.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So that's the next thing.
Guys, take notes because those things you should pretty much know. This one, the visualization clause, that's Israel's domain. So never underestimate the power of visualization. 90% of the information transmitted to the brain is visual, and you can use this to help you close a sale. All right. So if you can help a customer visualize seeing themselves using a product, in our case, the house, and how it will benefit them, or if it's a seller, our own marketing and whatever we have to offer, it will make the decision to buy an easier one. So I'm saying, I've heard Israel because we've been working close. I think you do that too, Ed, but I know Israel does it more than I do. And just imagine how the sofa, he does that. He just puts the buyer, especially with buyers, in the room. Just imagine how the sofa would fit on this wall, or in this room, and how with your TV over there. Or how would you redesign this living room? Should we go ahead and put an offer and call this your home? Israel, go ahead. Give some of your examples and how you.
Well, you just gave, So pretty much, I do the same thing, and instead of just calling it a kitchen, I call it the magic room. Like, what kind of magic would you create in here?
Well, I don't know if
how much
the magic room.
Hey, you say that to the wrong person. They're gonna be like, all right, now we talking.
But then you also say, if I say that. So, with that being said, still, as I'm saying this, in that sense, you can actually go into the idea of now, what kind of food would you create? what smell sensories are going to go in there. What kind of
Yeah, imagine yourself like
designs
with
what you
that
can
nice
do.
roast. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Especially if you have a nice
Exactly.
big kitchen and you can have a table
Right.
in there, and
Right.
like imagine the whole interaction in that kitchen. Especially when it's just not like one little wall with a few cupboards. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's
Exactly.
it's it's great. Yeah.
And that helps them. Exactly. The more they are actually in the idea of the home, the more they're into the home itself, then they can actually say, you know what, I really love this home. I want to put an offer.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you see them already putting their U-Haul stuff, all their clothing, all their furnitures in the home, and it's even difficult when there's already furniture. But then you just change that really quick and just ask, if this furniture
Yeah.
wasn't here, what would you do
Yeah.
differently? How
Yeah.
well do you
No,
feel
it's
about this?
it's
Can we move
it's
forward?
good also in houses that need a lot of TLC, a tender loving care. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you need to redesign and push some walls and stuff like that. So with enough experience in the business, or if you have a little bit of a creative mind, you say here you can open up the kitchen into the living room, have this, basically like living space, like family room where there is a lot of interaction. You put an island in the middle, and since people will renovate, ultimately when they buy
absolutely.
the house, yeah. So that could be done. Sometimes even little issues that they think it's a huge problem with visualization of the problem they've been taken care of. It's like if they
Mm-hmm.
get it, if they feel it, they'll go for it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
At a price.
Understand,
I mean, anything is negotiable anyway.
of course, and
Right.
understand that you're a salesperson, right? Like whether the listing is your listing or you're on a showing appointment, you're trying to sell that property. So you're always looking for the qualities or something or an opportunity that they can utilize to their
Right.
advantage. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like renovations, for example. Sometimes we want to show these apartments and we're like, hey, this apartment's a little crazy. But if you paint the picture, if it's set at a good price, if you know how much the property is going to, how much the contractor would charge to renovate a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom apartment, then these are things that you can use on your
Mm-hmm.
utility belts when
Right.
selling these properties.
Right.
So the indirect close. So this is more of a close already takes few steps in. You're gonna have to create like a pattern of agreement. You're gonna make sure that people agree with you as you go along, especially when it's gonna come to working with the seller. And same thing with the buyer, like having them in agreement with you as you're going through the showing. And the more agreement you get throughout your conversation, the more likely you are to get the agreement when you ask for the signature or the offer. All right, so the indirect close goes pretty much like this: like the more competitive, like Mr. Seller, the more competitive our pricing, the more control you will have as a seller. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Seller?
Yes, I do
Or
agree.
I'd hate for this house to sell to someone else for less than you were going to offer. Does that make sense, Mr. Buyer? Stuff
Yes.
like that. But it would be more of a series of questions going into at the end that one, where you're going to position yourself with a price that is really competitive. Obviously, in that instance, we're talking about something slightly or at market value or right under to create demand and competition.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
important about this one too is that, I mean, for those that haven't seen it yet, if you check out our last one, we actually did tie downs. So this one already has 2 tie downs for both the seller and the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
After what we said is, wouldn't you agree, seller? Wouldn't you? I
Yeah.
mean, does that make sense, buyer? It engages them and it actually makes sure that they understood the kind of information we're trying to close on them with. So it's very important that we go with that.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
agree.
a good one actually.
Yeah. All
Now,
right.
trial
Sorry.
close. When you close, you ask for the business. The trial close, you are asked for opinions. Have we gone over enough so that we can sign the contract? Do you fully understand our price strategy? So again, this is really a decent close to use, so that you can actually literally, put the nail in the coffin, have them sign the contract, have them understand what's going on. Whatever trivial situation they have going for themselves, can feel that they're actually part of the situation, and then just sign sign a
Yeah, I
contract
think
if
this is where
necessary.
you can gauge where they are in their mind. Like, have you seen enough? Have you, like, did we cover enough? Let's say if you're going to be talking to a seller, like, did everything we cover right now make sense to you? And now we're at that point where we're ready to sign the contract. And I don't think it hurts to say that, because sometimes they might pop up a question, you know.
Right.
Do you fully understand our pricing strategy? You want to make sure everything is clear in their head, and would be same thing with a buyer. All right, so we've seen all the house. Do you, like, okay, you see yourself living in there? We understand, like, okay, like, there is one room that's gonna need full redo. I don't know, bathroom, whatever. Is that, like, does this fit in your budget? Are we clear about it? Can we just go and make the offer? So that's
Right.
the trial close. And this is something that you may attempt several times during your conversation with the buyer or the seller at the time you're going through the process of being ready to make an offer or being ready to sign the listing. Okay.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Yep. All right.
The yes or yes close.
The yes or yes, or the alternative choice close. So you give them choices that both lead to a positive outcome. All right. For instance, do you want to make the offer at asking, or did you want to try to negotiate the price a little bit? So either way, they're going to be making the offer. All right. And if you're working with the seller, should the listing start date be October 15, or should we just give you a little bit more time and start November 1st?
Yeah.
Either way, you're still getting the listing.
I think most of us
You're
use this one.
Yeah.
basically
And
leading
same
them
thing.
to agree.
Yeah.
You can give them the yes or yes close throughout the whole conversation, throughout your presentation, And I think sometimes it gives them, like, it's part of the visualization. It's like, give them different options. They're already seeing them, see themselves working with you. And to me, I think this one is good because it breaks down the walls, slowly and slowly, and they're getting more comfortable, and you're giving them a plan of action. And those are like win-win situation.
Those kind of questions, these kind of questions are basically getting them more involved. And we've said it in the past where you can talk to somebody about an idea and you can talk them right through it. They're not going to know what's going on, but the minute you start asking these kinds of questions is where you're now getting them involved in the process.
Right.
Yeah. So guys, like, keep those slides in. I think they're very important. Take some notes, because you're gonna have to practice those and fill them out and understand how you can place those close into your presentation. It's always going to be your conversations, actually presentation to sell your services, whether it's a listing or an offer or a buyer agreement. The sensory close. So that was like really, Coach Michael Bird is very, very big on this. And this is where you really need to understand your buyer, your leads, your sellers, and where you're also going to be in tune with what type of personality they fall into. And this year we haven't discussed personality profile. We should bring that back soon, because it's still very, very important on how
revamp
to.
it.
Yeah, we should. Like, you have some people that are visual communicators, and the way you interact with them is like, Mr. Seller, it looks like you want to do this and get this listing going today. Auditory communicators, like, you need to feel them out and say, here, this sounds like you want to get started, Mr. Buyer. Kinesthetic communicator, they're more about the touchy feely, feels like you want to move forward. And then again, you have to be observant, you have to be in tune with your leads, your prospects, with your buyers, sellers, and feel them out. So that comes with really a little bit more experience, but you should really, really, like, try to observe them, listen to them, and really not just think about you closing the deal, and just see who they are. And then the auditory, digital communicator. So there is a little bit of a nuance with it. Those are very analytical. And this is somebody like Israel, like Ed is a kinesthetic communicator. He's going to use a lot of his feelings. All right. I'm like more visual, less auditory, but visual is number one. And then somebody like Israel is auditory digital communicator. Is also, it has to make sense. It has to compute in his head. Like, since it's so analytical, it has to A plus B equals C, and there is no more answer. Are you agreeing with me, guys? As far as how you, and like
I like the way you divided this into like different personalities. I wasn't even thinking of it in that sense.
No, but
I wasn't thinking that either.
That's what it is. Look at it. Yeah.
But it's true, because if you pay close attention to the people that you're working with, you can understand what words to say. And we've heard this our entire lives. Words are powerful. Choose your words wisely. If you have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. You don't say anything at all. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're paying close attention to the people that you're interacting with, that you're doing business with, you're going to know what words you can say to trigger certain actions and emotions.
Like, for me, don't use the word feel. I'll dismiss you. I'm like, feel. I want to make sure I want to know. I don't want to feel. This is how it is. So this comes with a little bit more experience and really, really being in tune with your prospects. But super important. Yeah. And then the strong presentation close. And that close is actually the natural ending to a good presentation that you should have put together. And we should all be using it. Mr. Seller, any other questions about anything I presented to you today? Mr. Buyer, any other questions in regards to the contract process, in regards to making an offer? No? Okay. Will you sign the offer today? Let's sign this listing right now, and actually putting a pen and really shoving it in their hand has worked a few times for me. It's like, here you go, just give them the pen, and naturally they grab it.
Naturally,
When we used to have, you remember, like when we had MLS, not you, Ed, that's too ancient for you. We used to have those carbon copies.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, I remember.
Hard.
Yeah.
Don't forget to press hard, Mr. Seller.
Wait for the listing agreements. Yeah, I remember them. We had them in the office.
Yeah, I know, but they were like really
pre-COVID. Yeah, I know. I remember.
I know. So 90s.
I love my digitals now.
I know,
which is good. Less trees.
So I a lot of the times, I've had some instance lately where some people say, I have them signed digitally. Yeah, I'm gonna get my iPad and I'm gonna have the listing agreement ready, pre-filled, or I'm gonna fill it up as we are talking, depending on the situation, and be able to have them sign even digitally on the iPad as we talk and conclude the deal, and it's some people are impressed by that. They feel like you're a little bit technology savvy. You're like in tune. You're quick with the time. Some not. So again, you have to fill out your prospect.
I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a pretty decent one to go with.
Yeah.
The summary close.
This is one you should always be using anyway. You just you reiterate, put back together all the features and the benefits that you went through as you were presenting, whether it's a buyer and a seller. You help them getting organized in their thoughts, sorting out what just happened. Mm-hmm. Okay. And, like in the pro tip, they say attach each feature and benefits to either their goal or their pain. Like, reiterate, this is the end goal. This is what you guys are looking for, Mr. Buyers. Like, we were looking for at least three bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. You see, in the neighborhood, it's very difficult to have 3 bathrooms in those homes. So you're going to have one in your main cave, in your basement, one on each floor. And remember that other bedroom on the 3rd floor, perfect for mother-in-law. Like, go back over the features. And if, you can try, you guys You're going to go back around. You guys are 4 of you cramped into a 1-bedroom apartment. I think it's time to make the move. This is the perfect house. You go back over all the features. Remind them they're paying a little bit and just go for the close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I believe the summary close is a very good close, but at the same time, it takes a lot of practice because think about it. You're now going back and summarizing your entire conversation with the person and then mentioning these value points or showing them solutions to their pain. So it's something that you would have to practice as you're going through the process.
But that should have been part of your presentation, whether
Well,
it's a buyer or a seller.
Well,
so
I'm not
all
saying it
those
isn't. It's
points
just that
are those that you
ideally
prepared. Yeah.
people jump to the hard close is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a summary close, it just feels like things are flowing, right? Like there's no restrictions. You don't feel like, oh my God, I'm about to ask them for the close. No, it's just, hey, look, this is what it is. Here's the value. This is what you mentioned. You said you wanted this. You said you wanted to go there in 3 months. This is how long it takes for a property to sell in your environment.
Right.
You know, so we need to already kind of be in motion if that's what you're looking to do.
But you know, it makes you look extremely good because it just shows that you have all your stuff together. Like you really have the plan. You're working with them. I think this is like this added confirmation that you're the person to be working with them.
Correct.
Right. And then in the beginning, we did say that, I mean, it doesn't take only experience and charisma. This is a perfect way to do it with
the techniques. This is all it is. You could
once
be a
you
rookie.
actually provide them with all the features and benefits, and you're going it over nice one by one. You know, they'll see that you're listening. They'll see that you're.
But guys, you know what? This is just like practicing your scripts. This is what you need to practice. Practice the tie down. Practice the closes. Practice your qualifying scripts. This is all scripted. You should be practicing everything.
So, and I certainly agree with that 1,000%, because one thing's for sure, you know, we're about to end this soon, but one thing's for sure is this, and I say this to a lot of people in that sense, that if you're at a point of, you know, again, what are the 4 pillars? Context, lead, appointments, and contracts, right? If you're at a point of each pillar and you're not able to get to the next stage, you need to figure out what is your closing that you're not using to be able to get to that next stage. Right? What is it that you're not doing? What is it you're not saying? Some of us actually get to a point of wanting to get to context to lead and then want to close right away without having to build rapport, without having to build
burn bridges,
without having to
burn some steps,
get the kind of information on that. So yes, it's true. You know, to get to contract, the only difference between contacts and contracts is the art, and which is relationship in this case, which is rapport in this case. So when you look at it that way, honestly, when you're on the phone with somebody that becomes your contact, what is the closing that you're using to make sure that they're feeling comfortable to work with you? You know, what is it so they can become your lead? What is the closing that you're using for your lead to become an appointment? Because remember, that's important. Mm-hmm. And then what is the closing that you're using to make sure that appointment becomes a contract? These are the things you have to look into. And if you're not getting there, then you need to certainly practice as quick as possible.
It goes back to the motive of the year, which is work with intention. You know, like anything you do has to have a plan. You can't just throw crap at the fan hoping it's going to stick. This is not working in this environment. This weird atmosphere, you know, like rates went up, they go down, you think it's going to be okay, then it's going back up, and then buyers are ready to go and they stall and they're, let's go back, King. No, not yet. This, you know, same thing with sellers. So you need to have skills. You need to make sure you formulate your own working plan, and you'd better know what you're saying. So guys, practice anything.
I agree.
Practice makes perfect.
Intense. Why do I feel like it was intense?
Because it's super important, you know, like I'm just seeing a lot of topics of training, and we like this year is back to spring training camp. That's what it is. That's what this year is for. You know, if you want to,
I think you're right. I think you're 100% right, because the days of just putting something on the MLS and letting it sell itself, I think, are long gone. Will it ever come again? Maybe. You know, maybe. But at the end of the day, it's what we do in the industry, right? We got to stay on our toes.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yep.
become a chameleon. Understand that the markets will continue to change. History repeats itself. So what we need
Yep.
to do is put ourselves in a position that we're going to capitalize, not to take advantage of people, but there's people out there that are looking, right? Hey, the rates go up. No one's going to buy. That's not true. There's a lot of people that cashed out. They're buying in all cash. They don't care about the rates. When the rates go up, it's a cash market. So what do? We find those people. We switch, we navigate, we try to work around these things, but it's not going to happen if we're not training ourselves, if we're not sticking to the education system that's out there that's being provided. And if there's questions you guys have about anything relating to this, by all means, feel free to reach out to us, right? Yes, we're in different brokerages, but it doesn't matter. The entire concept of this was for us to come together, share ideas, share experiences,
learn
and
from
to
one
try to
another.
help.
Yeah.
Learn from one another and to try to help those who are coming on this interesting journey, because we get licensed, we leave school, and we think it's going to be like getting a job. And then you realize that it's nowhere near that.
Yeah.
Nowhere near that.
I know. So guys, take some notes, go back. This is pretty much, we maxed out on StreamYards on all the platforms. We can actually disseminate that information. So it's going to be all over YouTube, all over Facebook. It's on LinkedIn. It's pretty much anywhere you can find it. And those videos will stay on forever. All right. So
and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like.
Yeah.
Take care of us.
It's true. And if you don't, this is why, like a lot of agents are saying, we don't get this type of training in our office. We're not asking you to switch. We're not asking you to come and join us. Use those tools for yourself. See, we're just sharing. We're just agents like you. We're not saying we're perfect, but at least we're giving out our 2 cents. Each of us has very different personalities. We're in the very different age groups. Right. Use that to your advantage. I think we got this great platform. And we've been churning at it for 2.5 years, guys. Jeez. We're coming to 2.5 years.
2.5. It's been a long time for us now.
We should, That's it. We should do an event. All right. Oh snap! You know what happened the last time we spoke about an event live?
I know.
It happened. And we were talking about doing a personality live or redoing a personality.
We should do a personality.
What if we did it in person?
Yeah.
What if we did something in person where we can also implement little trainings that can help us kind of get through that, right? Because once we figure out what personality we are, we need to then understand how the information that we're giving is coming across, how it's being interpreted. So it all depends on how our expressions are, right? From visual to feelings to emotions. Maybe that would be a pretty cool training to do, in person.
Let's talk to our people that can actually give us CE on that. No, because you can mix it up. Definitely, you can add a lot of the stuff, a lot of the things with ethics and fair housing, and all this can be all combined in that, for sure. Yeah.
So, that's it. We're gonna figure something out.
Yes, guys. All right, thank you for tuning in, everybody. I know this was another heavy one, important one, because we all need to be trained. We all need to be retrained, trained, and keep on practicing. And if we do that for you, we also do that for ourselves. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much. Yes.
All right. Awesome. Go have some open houses this weekend.
Go attend some open houses this weekend.
Yes, so attend them.
I got a couple of them in Forest Hills and Kew Gardens.
Four this weekend. I'm
going to be in East Elmhurst on Sunday. And then private showings most likely. But
good.
Everything is good. Oh, we got a comment. Yo, Darwin, thank you. Thank you for the support, my man. We appreciate you for tuning in and sticking around with us till the end. So thank you.
That's right.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yes, everybody. Oh, wait. Who's the MVP?
Oh, wait. It's a tie.
You know what?
I think it's a tie.
It's a tie.
You gotta give it to 2 people.
Who should we give it to?
Leah and Darwin.
Leah and Darwin. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Leah, congratulations. You're the MVP of the day. And Darwin, you're also the MVP of the day. Everybody wins.
Absolutely.
It's like an Oprah thing. You know?
Every time.
You
That's
get
good.
MVP. You get MVP.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you so
But thank
much.
you, thank you, thank you
Enjoy
for
your
coming by.
weekend.
It was amazing. Thank you.
For sure.
All right.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Don't forget to stop by the open houses. And like always, peace.